Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and Amber's waving at you, and here's a Labor Day special Reddit. It's the day that all women and men can be equal, because it's the day we get to all celebrate being with child. It's great, it's great. I hope you all have your prosthetic lumps. Amber's looking at me. Amber's telling me that this is not what Labor Day's about. It's not what Labor Day's about. No. Oh. I have some mail to get back from the mailbox. Excuse me. And here's some Reddit. Speaking of parenthood, our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for kicking out my boyfriend and his daughter after she used my photos for her scrapbook?" I started seeing a guy roughly a year and a half ago. He has a 9-year-old, almost 10 daughter named Chrissy, and I have an 11-year-old son as well. We met each other as kids 3 months back, and last month they started having weekend visits here. It's been super hard to adjust, especially for me. The kids get along for the most part, but I'm just having a really hard time. My son has always been a fairly good kid and hardly has given me any issues. He never drew on the walls or broke anything of importance or talked back, aside from occasionally. Obviously, no kid is perfect. And he was always super quick to ask for permission to touch my stuff. I personally think that I lucked out, and I knew that not all kids were as well behaved as my child, but I was not ready. I'm just overwhelmed. So, since she has been doing weekend visits here, she stays in my guest room. She has destroyed a lot. Rips holes in the mattress and then says they were already there. They weren't. Draws on the walls and windowsills with makeup and markers. She even takes my new feminine pads to her room to cut them up. She has put a hole in my wall and said it was already there. I can buy brand new things of shampoo and conditioner and it's gone, 100% gone, and in the trash by the end of her shower, which lasts 45 minutes every single time. She stomps her feet and slams the door when we have to speak to her and knocks things off the walls. She is generally a good kid, but she is so destructive. Is her name Damien, perchance? What really set me off was her coming here this weekend with her dad. My son was at his father's house, and I was called into the office to do a signing which would only take roughly an hour at max. So I left them there without me. Well, when I got back, she was sitting at the kitchen table with all of my photo albums laying in front of her, cutting out the faces and everything else on these photos and gluing them to her scrapbook. Photos that I cannot get back, as they were printed out years ago when I was in foster care, and those were the only copies that I had. Photos of my dead friends as well. I went to my boyfriend, who was on the phone outdoors, and told him that they needed to leave. I explained the situation and told him that I was done. Those photos, as stupid as it may be, were a huge part of my childhood, and now they are destroyed. I told him that I was done speaking to him about his daughter destroying my stuff, and it was time to go. He thinks that I'm a jerk for throwing away a year and a half down the drains over some pictures. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not? A joke? Choke. Amber is ferociously, like a lion, swinging her head back and forth, saying no. OP is not the jerk. I agree. I think that OP as a monster on her hands. This should have been handled a long time ago. Her father is enabling her bad behavior. This is a product of bad parenting. She's getting away with this kind of stuff at home, and now she's getting away with it at your house. And I understand that you're trying to be kind and compassionate, but she's almost 11. She knows better, right? Or maybe she's almost 10. I don't know. But either way, she's old enough to know better, right? That's an age when You know not to draw on walls. You know not to use entire bottles of shampoo. You are taking care of yourself more and more, and she knows what she's doing is wrong, and she might be doing this as a way to drive you out of her life. Maybe she doesn't like you for some reason or another, or maybe she's just has some other problems, some other troubles that she needs to go into child therapy for. But whatever it is, this isn't your problem, OP. You aren't throwing away a 1.5 year relationship. You're throwing away your boyfriend who has not taken the time and effort to discipline a child, and do you really want that in your life? Do you want him raising your son as well? And I would think the answer to that is probably no. So I think you probably dodged a bullet here. It's an unfortunate bit of a hard lesson, especially since how much time you've invested in this relationship. But that's the sunk cost fallacy, right? You can't be afraid of losing a 1.5 years because you invested time, money, and energy into it. You have to be willing to give up something bad when it's bad. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And there are probably people who can repair those photos, right? I mean, if OP were to be able to get those digitally scanned, even the parts that were cut out, then someone could basically work on reconstructing and repairing them. So that's actually not really that big of a thing in the respect of repairing and reconstructing photos like that. So hopefully OP can find someone who can repair them. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. That would make me mad too. He sounds like a bad father. Curious what his response have been to destroying your stuff in the past. If he doesn't respect your property, he doesn't respect you. And OP replies, he has the same, you know you can't do that talk, and that's literally it. The same conversation every single time. He said it so much to her that she will literally say it with him and be like, yeah, Dad, I know, you've already told me. And then she will be good for like a day and then go right back to it. This is gross. Not good at all. This is not an appropriate punishment at a certain point, right? She needs to start taking responsibility for the things she does. Like when she draws on the walls, you need to force her to clean the walls so that she has to deal with the repercussions of her actions. So there needs to be a punishment that fits these crimes, not don't do this. So I think that he's not doing a very good job at disciplining her. If she breaks the walls, then she needs to learn how to get out the drywall and some paint and fix them up. It's not that hard. Kids can do that. I mean, that's not a hard thing to do. Drywall and a little bit of scraping, like, it's pretty, plaster of Paris is pretty easy to use. Under supervision. Maybe we've delved into Brian's bad advice. Amber thinks we have. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to introduce my girlfriend to my sister's family? And this one does involve racism. So, I'm a 22-year-old male, and I've been dating my girlfriend, a 23-year-old female, for a 1.5 years. My sister is a 30-year-old female and really wants me to invite her to her place and introduce my girlfriend to her and my brother-in-law. Our parents are dead, so they are the only family that I have. Now, I have a bit of a problem. My brother-in-law is black and my girlfriend is, well, racist. I know you all will probably ask why I'm dating her then. The thing is this, I've always been the guy who's never been able to get attention from girls. I was single up through high school and college because no one was interested in me. I've been through countless rejections. Then this woman came into my life. She's really hot. In fact, she looks like a model. She's also smart and nice in all ways except this one way, which is I guess due to her upbringing. She's way out of my league, and I would never have a chance to find someone like that again. I kept trying to make excuses, but since my sister kept insisting, I explained the situation and told her that she could meet my girlfriend, but not my brother-in-law or nephew. She should lie and say she's single and has no kids. My sister got really offended. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk? Amber is nodding her head. OP, there are other fish in the sea. You can't expect to not be judged by the people you associate with. If she was doing other terrible things, like maybe she was, let's suppose for a moment, just for a scenario, you were to say, she's really great, except for she has this one thing where she likes to rob people. She likes to kick puppies. This is one thing that she likes to do. Would you be willing to excuse those behaviors? And if the answer is yes, because she's willing to sleep with me, then you're a very sad and desperate individual. You need to understand that you cannot sit passively by and excuse and enable her racism. You've forsaken your own flesh and blood because you're lonely, and I think that's a terrible travesty, and I think that it shows that you have a lot of growing up to do and a lot of insecurities and probably some self-esteem issues here, but you can't hide behind that and say, well, I just don't want to be lonesome. It's better to be alone than to be with someone who has questionable points of views and morals, and I think that that is a really important thing. You literally are just hoping that someone's going to come in here and validate your concerns, OP, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think you need to get into therapy. I think you need some counseling, and I think you need to dump your girlfriend if she isn't willing to go out of her way to change who she is in order to be a better person, right? There may be no hope for her. Maybe she's so intertwined in this mind frame that she can't be helped. Maybe she's willing to get help. And I mean, I think that either way, by you not approaching her and confronting her about this, you're just enabling her bad behavior. So I do not think you're in the right here, OP, and I think you have a tremendous amount of growing up to do. So anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk. You're compromising your ideals to get with a hot girl. This is some ugly behavior on your part. In my opinion, if racism isn't a deal breaker for him in a partner, he's racist too. So he's not compromising on his ideals, he's just showing what they are. And OP replies, "It's not just about the adult fun time. I've been alone for so long and it's nice to be in a relationship." Alright, our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for telling my sister that there is nothing that would ever make me ask her to be my bridesmaid?" This involves me, a 24-year-old female, and a sister, a 23-year-old female. We were really close for 10 years, and I loved having a sibling so close in age. Sometimes I felt like my parents babied her more than was fair, but her and I were cool. She was a friend and not just a sister, and I would have done anything to protect and defend her. We both got busier for a little while, and it was after the busyness started that I noticed that I would get into trouble a lot more, and it never made any sense. I was told I was leaving my sister behind, that I needed to learn not to be mean. My parents would talk about seeing me do stuff that I'd never done. I was also so confused. Then one night, I had been at a friend's house and I just got home. When I went upstairs, I heard talking. I went down and heard my sister say that I had told her that we could play together, but I had ditched her for my friends instead and never even told her. The next morning, my dad told me he remembered me promising my sister to play with her and how I never followed through, and that was not a good big sister move. I told him that I never promised, but he shut me down. This continued for months. She would say that I had something that I didn't, or that I was mean to her, that I had been bullying her, I was pushing her away all the time and breaking promises. None of this was true. I was busier with school and extracurricular stuff, but we still spent time together. It wasn't as much though, but we couldn't have spent the same time together. I told her to stop. She told me that there was no way because I didn't get to ditch her for my friends, that she should have gotten all of my spare time. I told her that it wasn't fair and that she had friends too. Our relationship turned bitter on my part afterwards. I started to hate her instead of loving her. We would fight anywhere and everywhere. Eventually, I built it up, and when I was 17 and she was 16, she went to our high school principal and said that I had cheated on a test and that I had told her at home. My parents were called in and investigated. Even though the school cleared me, my parents still believed it and missed out on a great opportunity because the allegations were still being investigated. I never forgave her for that. A couple of times after we both moved out, she told extended family members all about the bullying I subjected her to. It further reinforced my dislike of her, maybe even true hatred. Now I'm getting married. I asked my 2 closest friends to be my bridesmaid. My sister found out about this and told me that I should have asked her, and told me that she wanted to do it. I told her that there was nothing in this world that would make me ask her, and I would sooner have no bridesmaids than her as one. She called me a bee, and now I'm getting harassed by my family too. My parents have also tried, but they're not even getting an invite because I blame them for believing all of this and not putting a stop to it. But I worry that I crossed a line. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk? Amber is shaking her head in saying OP is not the jerk. I don't think OP is a jerk. I think the parents should have put a stop to this a long time ago and put both the girls into child therapy. When you have 2 children who are fighting like this and are saying one said the other thing and the other one said the other thing, then this means that there is some deeper, probably root cause for this, and they probably need to have their problems worked out, and maybe with a person who can help and guide children through troubles. And I think the parents did a great disservice by choosing the younger sister to be the golden child, because that's what this feels like. It feels like they always took her side, they never took OP's side, they always believed her, and she had them wrapped around her little finger. And I don't think this is your fault, OP. I think you have a lot of trauma from childhood by being harassed by your sister and by your parents. I don't blame you in the least for not inviting any of them to your wedding, and I think that this is a really unfortunate situation that your family turned on you like this, and I think going maybe low contact and no contact is perfectly acceptable here. I don't think you're under any obligation to invite people who treated you this poorly to your wedding, which is supposed to be a very happy time for you, and you don't need constant reminders of what went wrong in your past. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk password everything, so no messing with the wedding. Good point. Maybe even higher security in case she and the parents decide to crash the wedding and reception. Not the jerk OP. Why would she think that she would be a bridesmaid or maid of honor when you're not even inviting your parents? That's just weird. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. Amber has some water over here. I actually have some Monday morning coffee because again, it's Labor Day. Amber has a joke. Oh, I have a joke apparently. Amber's picked out a joke for me to read. What lives on its own substance but dies as soon as it devours itself? A candle. Amber's like, Brian even had the riddle covered up so that he wouldn't see the answer, but I knew the answer to that one. I knew it. It's an old one. Almost as old as me. Maybe older. Seeing as this book was published before me originally, wasn't it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm still older. I win. And I, again, as I said, have coffee.
You were 2 when it was published.
I was 2 when the book was published, so I am indeed older than at least the book was. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like, and if you didn't, consider giving it a dislike. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Monday. I hope you're all, if you have a vacation day today, are enjoying your vacation day. Anyhow, take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Amber waves bye. Bye! We met each other's 3 kids months back. A little bit of a dyslexic mess up there.